can't have a blanket message for everybody, right? You've got to be able to go in and you've got to be able, again, make students feel, if we're a small school and we're selling that we are going to give you a personalized experience, that has to start from the very first recruitment, right? You have to be personable, you have to get to know the students, and you have to meet them where they are. And again, use data to find where you can get stuff. So yeah. Whereas we're a test optional school, so I said, why do we need to do that? Instead, why don't we go back and look at the data of where are we getting students, where are students applying from but not actually coming, where's the pockets of growth that we can go to. And so I was able to kind of approach it from a different angle. And again, I think probably some of the most dangerous words in the English language are that's the way we've always done it.
Welcome back to another episode here on the Heart and Hustle podcast with the homie Jeremy Taylor. I appreciate you, man. Like, this is gonna be good. I remember just having the first call with you, and you were a blast, man. I really want to talk about how you also went to Texas A&M. We got to start here, by the way. You went to A&M with dreams of being a football coach, got caught up in the social scene, and then failed out, man, including failing Black history as the only Black student in the class. What did your professors say, man? How did you feel at that moment after all this?
Well, again, to give some context to it, I still use this today when I talk to students. I say, if you have a bad GPA, you better have some good memories. I had really good memories in college, but yeah, I mean, it was a turning point. I mean, again, I had a great time, great social opportunity, but yeah, like it's ironic. I was the only Black student in this Black African American history class to 1877. And I just remember walking in at the end of the semester, being a young brother, walked in and was like, hey, Dr. Stark, can you help me out? Can you help me out? And I just remember the look on his face. He turned to me and he said, man, you just set the movement back. And I was like, wow. And so, yeah, I mean, I took that bad grade along with several others. And, yeah, I mean, I had great opportunity, but, yeah, that really stuck with me. And kind of has become like a guiding star. So, yeah, no doubt.
I was going to say, man, I love how as young individuals, man, we are not that person, right? We go through those moments in life that we learn from. Can imagine you learn from it because then you went on and you had to work a couple of years, but you earned your way back, man. Bachelor's degree, master's, and a PhD, all in history.
Oh, yeah. I mean, again, and it's again, it's interesting because when I chose history, like again, I was a first generation college kid. Didn't know what I was doing. I remember showing up for orientation. They asked me what I want to major in, and I said I want to be a football coach, right? And so I majored in history just because that was what all my coaches were. So yeah, if you would have told me, 30, 40 years ago that I was going to be a vice president of college, I said there's no way, right? But again, it's not about going to school is about getting the opportunity and taking advantage of the opportunity you have. And oftentimes young people don't realize when you're in the middle of that you have that opportunity. You don't realize that this is your chance. And so I was just very fortunate that I got a couple of second chances and was able to go back and again, change my family tree. Again, first generation college kid. If you would have told me I was going to get a PhD, I'd have said there's no way. So, yeah.
Do you think the athlete in you just made you competitive to say, wait, I failed, but I'm about to be successful here? Because, I mean, who fails and then goes back and says, I'm going to the top of the line? And then you don't even like to be called doctor. So it's like, what I mean? Did you just do it out of that just competitiveness that you had within you?
Yeah, I mean, I think again, being an athlete growing up, definitely involved. And again, don't get me wrong, I wasn't no great athlete. I knew I wasn't gonna play college ball, right? I knew that wasn't gonna happen, but I liked it, right? And so I think what it was is again having to see that real world experience. And when hindsight's 2020, but it's really quick 2020 when you get out and you actually have to work for a little bit and you realize, man, this is my life. This is what it's going to be like. And, I did a couple of different jobs and, I think realizing that once that opportunity was finally gone, and I wasn't going to be able to sweet talk my way out of it, or let somebody let me get by. Yeah, it just changes your perspective, and then that idea of you working your way up and just getting things done. That definitely motivated me. So I think my athletic background a little bit did, but again, it wasn't coming from a perspective of being a Jordan or
Okay,
something like
bro.
that. Nah.
Okay. So you do all that, and then you back at the college, back at the university. Must love it, man. Must have been the scene for you. And then you get into a role that you had no idea about. Take us down that lane, man. Like, how do you get into university and admissions? Did you even know
Yeah,
this existed?
yeah. So again, my goal in life was to be a high school football coach. Once I had the opportunity to do that, again, I'm married. I love my wife. She's the love of my life. She stuck through me. We've been college sweethearts. She stuck through me and was trying to motivate me to go to class. So she still laughs about me failing a certain class, right? Well, as a high school football coach in Texas, that's a tough schedule, and so
Hmm.
I knew that wasn't going to necessarily be compatible with the type of married husband I wanted to be, and
Yeah.
so I just had some again happenstance and opportunity. So I decided I was just going to go back, get a master's degree, and just maybe teach junior college, because that's just something I was going to do. Then I wouldn't have to worry about football. And just one day, I happened to be walking through a college fair. We got out of class early, walked through a graduate school college fair, and I started talking to a recruiter from the University of Arkansas. And she was like telling me about a PhD program and how they could help pay for it and blah blah blah. And I was like, what? And so that I just ended up going on and getting a pretty good opportunity to go get a PhD. And then after that, after I got my PhD at University of Arkansas, ended up just becoming a history professor here at Defiance College. The job market is tough for historians,
Hmm.
oftentimes, and so I was blessed and had the opportunity to have a couple of different offers. And Defiance College, small college, Northwest Ohio, just gave me the opportunity to come in and kind of do some things. And so I was a professor for several years, just being a professor. Then I went on to become a department chair. Um, and again, full circle. We had a late hire of a football coach one year back. I think it was 2018, and he was from Texas. Asked me if I'd come out and coach D line for him, just as kind of like a fill in, because he got hired at the end of July, and football camp started in August. So I went and begged my wife, said, "Hey, can I try it again?" And she was like, "Yeah, go ahead, you're good." And so I did that for a couple of years, and as part of that, I helped to recruit. Right, so I'm a faculty member, but I'm also coaching football
Yeah.
and calling kids and watching film. And fast forward a couple of years, we had an opening in our enrollment department as the vice president of enrollment, and
Yep.
the president said, "Hey, you know how to call kids up. You kind of know how to do this. You know how to recruit. Why don't you step in?" And so, I'm very fortunate that my very first job in the admissions world is as the vice president of enrollment at Defiance College, and kind of walked into a tough situation. We, like a lot of small schools, were struggling with enrollment, had 10 years of declining enrollment, just needed to go back and find our way. And I think not being from the admissions world, I was able to kind of figure out some things and just look at things common sense and say, hey, this is what we need to be doing. And so we've had pretty good success so far and been able to do some really cool things here at Defiance.
And that's a still role. That's still the role you're in.
What's that?
That's still the role that you're in right now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So that's the role I'm in now. I took over in 2023
Okay.
as the vice president for enrollment management, and so this is like my third full cycle, kind of going through. Um, Again, been very successful. So far, been successful. I've got a really good team that works with me, and I like. In addition to just growing the enrollment at Defiance College, again, we've grown. We grew 78% the first year. We grew another 20% the next year. We're on track to grow another 15-20% this year.
Wow.
But the most important thing to me is that it allows me, again, being in the classroom and teaching was great, but this allows me the opportunity to go out and meet with students, to give students the same kind of opportunities and some of the same second chances that I was able to receive. And so when we have visit days, I always tell people my job is the vice president of enrollment management. That means I have the best job in America because I get to work with students, right? I get to be on the front
Yeah.
line helping students make those changes and find opportunity.
Jeremy, I ask you, no shade on the person before you, but why do you think you see growth? Is it the way that you communicate? Is it the just, different leadership? A lot of people in the same space are not seeing growth.
Yeah,
What sets you
I
guys apart?
I think I think being an outsider from the admissions world allowed me to begin to question some of the things that generally people just do. For
Mm,
example, in this role, oftentimes schools will go out and spend thousands and thousands of dollars to buy names of high school students, particularly students what they got on their ACT score, their SAT score, and they focus their recruitment efforts on just those traditional things.
mm,
Whereas we're a test optional school, so I said, why do we need to do that? Instead, why don't we go back and look at the data of where are we getting students, where are students applying from but not actually coming, where's the pockets of growth that we can go to, and so I was able to kind of approach it from a different angle. And again, I think probably some of the most dangerous words in the English language are that's the way we've always done it, right? And
mm.
so being able to break away from that, come into it with fresh eyes, and again, just use some common sense about the things that we need to do is I think that's helped a lot.
Yeah.
And so I guess the other thing too is because I'm not from the admissions world, I was able to go out, like, I purposely, as a vice president, I still go out and travel to college fairs. I need to be out on the front line. I need to be able to go out and see what students are asking about. Some of the things that we can do. And I've also been very fortunate to develop a couple of partnerships with some other groups and companies that kind of help us to do some things that give more value add to our students. So yeah, again,
I
I
love
just
that.
think just common sense, a lot of it, and again, look using data, right? Because
I was
without
about to
data,
say,
it's just an opinion. So
I was going to say that, man. I love that you say data because data is everything, right? That data wheel
yeah,
allows you to really know who to talk to, how to talk to them, when to talk to them. Like, and I don't know that people are utilizing their data good enough or creating good enough data. So I love that your mind went to data, but also to the front line. Like, you don't know if you're not out there doing it,
yeah.
right? And you being out there, that's the way to learn, man.
Well, and
That's the way to
it's
learn.
really tough too. Like, I mean, I can sit in my office, and if I send an admissions counselors, that is probably one of the toughest jobs in America. It's
Mhm.
oftentimes young professionals just out of school that don't get paid a lot. Then you tell them go out on the road for 6, 8 weeks at a time, go out and bring all these students, recruit all these students. Well, it's really easy for me to sit in my office and look at a spreadsheet and say, "Hey, you didn't bring back any applications, or you didn't bring back where are these students at? What are you doing with this time I'm spending, this money I'm spending on you?" I've been to fairs and had crickets where nobody wants to talk to me. So being able to go out and talk to my counselors and say, "Hey, I see how it is. These are some things that work for me."
Mm.
And I think too, like this is one of the interesting things. Again, this is kind of a side tangent, but being out on the front lines helped me make a major shift in policy on this campus. Usually, when I first started, the rule was when you went out to a college fair as an admissions counselor, you had to be in business attire, like either business professional, or you had to be wearing a button up or a polo shirt and khaki pants and dress shoes. I went out and I saw that the people that talked to the people that the students were talking to are rocking dunks, right?
Yep.
And like that can start a conversation up. So I changed the policy. I'm not a sneakerhead, but I got like 5 pairs of custom dunks in Defiance College colors, and I want rock a hoodie when I go out to fairs. So that if nothing else, they can say, "Man, you're an old guy trying to be cool. I like your shoes. Are those customs?" Yeah, they're custom. I didn't know what a dunk was, right? But going out has helped to do those kind of things. And so yeah, my team and I are oftentimes known as people out with the best shoes on at college fairs. So
You know, I love the way that you think and that you said that though, because I think I may have told you, but I've taken over as the president of my old high school, right? These are young kids, anywhere between probably 13 to 17 or stuff, something like that, 13, 18. And I went for the scholarship awards last year, and I went casual, right? I went in an Edgewater, like long sleeve, but red shoes on, just very casual. And I remember the principal coming to me and saying, "Hey, man, you want me to give you like a dress shirt or something? Like, and I'm like, you know me, like, but you don't like my outfit or something?" He said, "Oh, I know if you just wanted it." And I'm like, "Nah, man, I think I feel more approachable like this. Like the
Absolutely.
kids will be more willing to listen to really because we look like them. We fit with them." And I think so many times as leaders, we forget that. We got to
Absolutely.
meet them where they're at. And when we come across in a suit and tie, sometimes probably too professional or too like, "Oh man, this person probably doesn't want to talk." But in reality, we're ready to talk. Like, come talk to us. So
Absolutely.
yeah, man, that you said that is thinking outside the box, bro. And that's why you've been successful is because you thought outside the box. You got to get creative in these spaces, man. I love that.
Absolutely. I mean, and you got to
Yeah.
find a way to set yourself apart, right? Like, I don't, a lot in higher ed, some of the scary words of everyone talks about the enrollment cliff, right? And how there's less students out there and we're not going to be able to go find. The enrollment cliff is a real thing, right? Yes, birth rates are declining, but there's some pockets of growth, right?
Yeah.
There's some areas. One of the things that we did is we went back and looked where were you built? Where were high schools getting built 4 years ago? Because that means that that community is growing and having students come in, right? And so,
Yeah.
like some of the areas that we begin to target, and that's how we set our recruitment, right? Is where can we go where we know that there's an abundance? There's some schools that don't recruit in certain districts because they've never ever pulled students from those districts, or
Yeah.
they traditionally their ACT scores might have been lower, or whatever. We go into those districts where other schools don't go, right? We try to go in and try to, because again, every student needs the opportunity. I'm not saying that
Yeah.
every student needs to go to college. There's some students that do not need to go to college, but every student needs to get the opportunity. And so what we try to do is we try to put our brand not just at the elite schools, but at the other schools as well. Every school, so that those students that are in those areas, everybody's going to have that opportunity.
If the Heart and Hustle podcast has ever sparked any idea or made you think differently, do us a favor. Make sure you guys share this, post it on LinkedIn, or even text that nonprofit friend that you just have. Whatever works, this is what keeps the conversation going and allows us to just grow this community together. Seriously, we appreciate you. I think you need to stop giving so much game on this conversation because you dropping these gems right now. Like it is truly, and I love how you said it's common sense because it is common sense, but not everybody has it. The way that you're making it seem, I'm pretty sure people are listening and thinking to themselves, like, man, why didn't I think of that? Because it is. You don't go to certain places because that's just the way it has been. But when you realize it, yeah, there's growth happening. Why? What do you mean we don't go there? Do you not see all the growth that's happening there? So
Yeah.
to be in that seat, man, it's easy, right? You just see it. It's low hanging fruit, I like to call it the low
Yeah.
hanging fruit, man. Yeah.
Well, and I
I
think I was going to add in. I think coming from like as a historian, like my specialty is Civil War, but I also study like politics as well. So
Mm,
oftentimes I look at recruitment strategy just like a political campaign, right? Where
mm,
can you draw students from precinct by precinct, street by street? Because and again, you can't have a blanket message for everybody, right? You've got to
yeah.
be able to go in and you've got to be able again make students feel if we're a small school and we're selling that we are going to give you a personalized experience, that has to start from the very first recruitment, right?
I
You
agree.
have to be personable, you have to get to know the students, and you have to meet them where they are. And again, use data to find where you can get stuff. So yeah.
Do you feel we talk about meeting students where they're at? Do you feel that communication has also adopted to that? Because when we talk about meeting kids where they're at, like email blasts not working, right? Like how are we really getting to the next generation? Because things look different. Our cell phones, right, is how we could really reach people. So did you think in that sense as well in that strategy?
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, we did like basically. There's three different really ways to communicate with people. You can write with them. You can send them writing, and that could be text, that could be email, that could be paper stuff. That you can do phone calls. right? And we all know this generation doesn't necessarily like to be on the phone. They don't like to talk, right?
Yeah.
We can also do like like blast emails, right? So yeah, we've completely adapted to that. We used to focus my first year in this job. We focused heavily on texting kids, but in the state of Ohio, they've changed some rules now, so that students can't have their cell phones in school, right? So you can't text them in school. So we've had to kind of revert back to email as well. But we also communicate with parents through phone calls. We have a really great partnership with a company called with a group called Ardeo, and basically what it is it's a loan repayment assistance program that we provide to students. It's an insurance policy we buy on students because we know that one of the big messages out right now is the fear of student loan debt, right? People are scared of that. And so we take
Yeah.
out an insurance policy on every one of our students when they come in that says if you graduate from Defiance College and you make less than $45,000 a year, then we will help you repay your loans until one of two things happens. Either your loans get paid off or you make more than $45,000 a year. So it's an insurance policy we take out. So one of the things that we do is we use this, our partner that manages the insurance policy, they reach out and they do a lot of the phone calls and they're talking to parents because that's who's really interested in that. So we have a
Yeah.
multimodal approach to communication. You can't just put all your eggs in one basket. Because yeah,
I love
students
that.
are this is a very different generation of students and grew up much different than I did. Much
Yeah,
different.
yeah.
So
I love this, man. I love this conversation. You out here really dropping these gems today, and I appreciate you on this Monday morning. Jeremy, I think what's also fascinating, man, is representation from a male figure. You mentioned earlier your coaches were history teachers, right? They weren't just coaches, but they were history teachers. Allowed you to see a male be a history teacher, right? Like, do you feel that was important? And do you think it is still important in the space of education, more male educators?
yeah, I mean I think having representation, whether it be seeing people that look like you, seeing people that have the same gender identity, whatever, having those different opportunities and seeing different people in different roles definitely helps. And it gives people, again, our students oftentimes don't even have any idea what they want to do. But that could be the key is seeing a male teacher, seeing, again, I recognize that there's not a lot of African American men that are in my position that are at cabinet level positions at small liberal arts schools. So I recognize that where that's at. And so I think getting students the opportunity and saying that nothing is impossible in today's world, absolutely. So the more different types of people that they can see in different roles, I think is absolutely important. One of the things I always do is I oftentimes have students that say they come up to me at a table and they ask about, hey, can I be do you have nursing? Well, we don't have a nursing program. But I tell students, you could be a doctor, do pre-med. And oftentimes when I tell us, there's been several times where I told students that, and they're like, what? I can't be a doctor. Yes, you can. Right? So, yes, again, long answer to your short question is I think seeing different roles and seeing people in different roles definitely can help influence and shape and provide opportunity for students.
I love that, man. I love how passionate and how excited you sound right now, man. Like you love what you do. This is exciting to you. You know what I mean? Like I can see the game in you. Like this is all like to you. It goes back to the sports, right? But it's so cool because I think when we grow up with something like that, that it teaches us something. Like I don't know that people really understand. You don't got to be good at sports, but what sports really teach you in life. There's a lot of life skills in that, and everything that we do. I mean, from going to school, right? You're not going to become a professor. You're not going to probably go to university, but there's still life skills that we learn there. And the students that you're trying to reach for and come from these families where nobody's been to college, right? Like this is first gen. Parents can't guide them because they've just never navigated themselves. How do you reach a family that doesn't know what they don't know?
Absolutely. So, I personally come from the approach of I need every student that wants to get a college degree to get a college degree. I love them. I love everybody coming to Defiance College. But what we try to do is we are very upfront. We're very transparent. And I tell all my staff to be the same way, right? that when we're out at fairs, particularly if we're at a first generation college, a high school that has a lot of first generation students, one, we've got to educate the student, and we have to be very responsible on what we say, because those students oftentimes are going to hear what they want to hear, right? And we also know that that's just the first line, because we have to intentionally market and talk to the parents as well. If a student is a first generation student, we've also need to educate and work with the parents so that they all know exactly what they're coming into, right?
Yeah.
And so we definitely have different communication approaches where, one, when we're first talking to the student to get them interested, but then we know we're recruiting the entire family, right? And again, we know that getting a college degree is probably the greatest catalyst for change for the greatest catalyst for social change, for social mobility, right? Because getting a college degree in a family can change a family tree, right? And so if we can do it, like there's been multiple times where I've had to tell students, Defiance College may not be the place that can work with you. Let's help you get into this school. Maybe you go to this school for a couple of years and then come back, right? Because again, I think that even though we are all competing for students, we have an ethical responsibility to work in the best interest of the student. That's kind of one of the mantras I live by is when people ask me about budget, or they ask me, can we get this, can we do this, can we do... My goal is, one, does it fit with the college mission? But two, is it in the best interest of the student? If it's not in the best interest of the student, we ain't doing it. And so that's just kind of that's the way I think about things. And so that's how I think we have to approach it, particularly when we're trying to talk to first generation students and make sure that their parents understand exactly what they're going into.
You said something a little tough there, man, that we got to kind of go back to. College can change a family tree. You've said that. Has it changed yours?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, like, you know, I as a student of history, I always find it fascinating that I'm only 3 generations removed from slavery, right? My mom's great great granddad was born as a slave, right? He was a sharecropper, and then he was a sharecropper in Alabama. The idea of a student going off to college, that wasn't even an idea. My mother graduated as the salutatorian of her high school in Alabama, and she had the opportunity to go to a college and get a college degree. But she was gonna my granddad was gonna have to pay $50 for her like deposit and her tuition or whatever, and that was a lot of money back in the 1960s at the height of the civil rights movement in Alabama. And my mother chose, even though my father and my granddad was going to go out and borrow the money from the bank to go do it, my mother-in-law was too worried that she was going to go. I mean, my mother was too worried she was going to go fail, and my granddad would have lost that money. So she chose not to go to college, right?
Wow.
I was blessed that even though I didn't take advantage of the opportunity right away, I was blessed that I had the opportunity to go to college. And I think that experience that my mother had, my dad was in the military, he enlisted in Vietnam and went to, I wake up and I say I had the genetic lottery, right? Because I had the opportunity to go. Yeah. And so, you know, with hindsight, I sit there and think about it that, yes, my path was circuitous, but I think it helped. Both of my kids have gone to college, right? Right now, I mean, I think we have 6 college degrees between me and my family. All of my cousins have gone to college, right? So, like, we are very fortunate and blessed that, yes, our family, now it's an expectation, right? And I'm not saying, like, I mean, some of my cousins, like my same age cousins, also went off to college as well, too. But a college degree has changed our family tree, you know? And I remember looking at my uncle, who eventually, he's the first person I knew that went to college, and he went to college back in the late 70s, one of the first African-American students to go to University of Alabama. And he told me about some of his struggles. And so, yes, a college degree can 100% change a family tree. So, yeah, I'm sorry I kind of went off on a tangent there, but
No, I love it. That's the passion
yeah,
right there, man. But you know, a lot of time we do the work. and we forget that, man, it truly has changed my life. And when we realize that, is that we can also speak that to somebody else. Like, you are a walking example of what it can do if you do it today, right? And I actually ask you, were you a boomerang? Because you mentioned how you didn't automatically take or the first take the opportunity. So you left, right? You left school after you failed and came back,
Yeah, yeah.
and
So I
not a
mean,
lot of people can do
I
that.
left. Yeah, I there was a couple of years where I was out of school because I mean,
Wow.
again, I did like my first 4 years. It was kind of like this cycle of in the fall I would party, then I get put on scholastic probation, do decent in spring just enough to get back up, then yeah, so it was this whole cycle, and then finally it just hit, and they were like, "No more chances. You're done." And I was like, "What? I can't come back?" And then it took me, yeah, it
Lord.
took me a year or two of working out in the. I worked at a juvenile prison for a little while, and
Wow.
that was eye opening because again, that made me realize, man, this is there, but for by the grace of God, that could have been me, right? And so
Wow.
like yeah, so I was able to get back in, and I remember one of the things too, like that again, second opportunities. There was back in the '90s, I had a little bit of an outstanding bill, and a registrar looked past that because with an outstanding bill, you weren't supposed to get a transcript when you're trying to transfer and get to class, go back to class. And I had a registrar that just said, you know what, here's your chance, go take advantage of it. Gave me a transcript, and I was able to go
Wow.
get the class I needed so I could get back into school. Yeah, like so
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
again, where I'm at now, which I am happy, I am more proud of kind of the opportunity that I have now. But I know I didn't get here by myself, right? Like oftentimes
Yeah.
they say it takes a village, and like whether it's walking on the backs of Marcus Mills, like I said, my great great grandfather who was born in 1862, working his way up to a sharecropper, to my granddad, to my mom, to all those people that also gave them opportunities, right, to set us up into a position that yes, that I was able to get to where I am. So like yeah, no, again, I wake up, I'm grateful every day, and again, I want to give students that opportunity. And so oftentimes when I see a file come across my desk or a student, it isn't just the GPA I'm looking at. It's not just that, but I'm looking at that person and like, what is this opportunity? How could this opportunity have it, and are they going to take advantage of it?
That it all makes sense now, man. Listening to this part of the story and really kind of getting here is why you win. Because when you've been through it and you lived it, it's so much easier to talk about it, you know. And you looked at life as an opportunity, and you failed and got back up, and someone else gave you an opportunity. And that's what life looks like, man. Is that you're not always going to win, right? But every time you fall, you got to listen. You got to see what that lesson is, and make sure you don't make the same mistake twice.
Absolutely.
And sometimes you do, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes we do, but it takes time because we knuckleheads. Right? I can imagine, Jeremy. I was that same kid, man. I wasn't getting it at first until you say, "Hey, that's it." You're like, "Wait a minute." So no more chances. So I appreciate the conversation, man. I love that what you've done and how really for you a PhD has nothing to do with intelligence, right? It's really about perseverance. And I ask you, what do you say to the student that's listening right now and who thinks that they blew their shot? Because there's many people, Jeremy, that probably think they blew their shot and don't realize there's another door about to open.
Yeah, I mean, I tell everybody if there is a way. I mean, if you got time, you got opportunity, right?
Mm.
If you got time, there's opportunity. This is kind of a weird way of saying it, but my son when he was really small, we used to play Mario Kart, right? And I used to tell him, "Hey, I'm beating you, but if I as long as I ain't crossed the finish line, you could always come back, right?"
Yeah.
And that's kind of my mindset is that as long as you're breathing, there's opportunity. And oftentimes it's just a matter of just reaching out and finding the right person, right? And again, my information is public. If there's somebody out there that thinks there's no second chance, call it Jeremy Taylor, and I'll help you. I will help you find a way, right? Like because there's again, my goal in life is to help students get degrees because if I can help somebody get a degree, that's not only going to change that's not only going to change their family tree, but it's going to change the world. And it's going to help people.
Yeah.
The more educated people are, the more conversations we can have. We can look at people from different perspectives. So pick up the phone and call somebody. Look into well, if you feel as though you've blown your chance, keep trying because there's something out there for you.
I haven't done this a whole podcast, but Dr. Jeremy, as we wrap up here, bro. No, man, for real. As we wrap up, man, I love you said that you're an open book. People can reach out to you, so that means you're probably on LinkedIn. You're easy
Oh yeah.
accessible. Where's the website for the also for more of information on the college itself?
Yeah, so
Hosting.
our website is just defiance.edu. Oftentimes people think that that's not a real college because I don't know if you remember there's an old show Scandal that
Yeah,
there
yeah,
was there was a storyline in there about Defiance, Ohio, and so people think that
yeah.
it's just something that was made up. But no, we're correct. Defiance.edu. It's easy to remember because we tell people at Defiance we want you to define your future. Right, that's our tagline: is
Love it.
define your future. But yeah, they can just go to our website. My email, I don't know if you have show notes or whatever, feel free, throw it in there, jtaylor@defiance.edu. People can reach out. I'm on LinkedIn as well, too, under Jeremy Taylor. And so, again, if somebody reaches out to me, I'm not going to hard sell them on Defiance College, but I'll try to hard sell them on taking advantage of an opportunity. So, yeah.
Man, it's been a pleasure, brother, have this conversation with you. For those that are still watching, thank you so much for still watching. Make sure that you guys do like, subscribe, and comment. It's these conversations that truly make a difference. There's people out there that just need to hear that one person to change their mindset, change their life. Jeremy, you've done that here today, man. Thank you for dropping those seeds, dropping those gems. My name's Ephraim. This is Dr. Jeremy Taylor. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Latest.
All right.